Hello, and welcome to Conscious Curiosities, where we unlock the wisdom of the universe which lies within us. I'm your host, Maria Luz, an astrologer, psychic medium, and certified hypnotist. As you may know, I've mostly moved over to my Substack, Astrology, Alchemy, and Honest Recovery. So I am sharing an audio from my Substack post for you today, and I'd love to have you join me over there. You can subscribe for free or as a paid subscriber for just $5 a month or $50 a year, and that entitles you to join in the monthly gatherings where I cover a topic on either alchemy or astrology and open it up for any questions you may have. I hope to see you over there. Thank you. The Former Warrior Accepts Help. Rehab of a Different Sort by Maria Luz O'Rourke. As I reach behind me for my carry-on bag, prepared to brace my core and heave it high above into the overhead compartment, a young woman in a cheerful yellow top smiles at me from the narrow aisle. "Would you like a hand?" she asks. In this moment, I realize I'm no longer the weary and wary road warrior of old. I'm just a fellow traveler attempting to make it through the trials and tribulations of air travel. I now trust myself enough to be vulnerable in public, and it shows enough that an offer of help is extended unprompted. On the next flight, it is the 40-something man in a Dallas Cowboys cap who has just settled into a seat, who rises up and in one graceful Olympic clean and jerk move places my bag into the overhead. I can almost hear the bag sigh with relief from being in his competent hands instead of my struggling ones. I think of the previous version of me, steely-eyed and hearted, boarding plane after plane on regular trips for work, and wondered how many of these would-be helpers had I signaled rejection before they could offer help. Not so long ago, my ego would rarely pass up an opportunity to show off my strength. From the middle seat near the back of the plane, I forgive that previous version of me who had to cling to the armor of status and upgrades, mistaking those things for rewards for my dedication. I imagine the young woman on her way to her college town, or the 40-something man on his way to meet his buddies for a fishing weekend, and it fills my heart to know they were always there in some other version too, ready to lend a hand, only I couldn't see them. This morning, back at home a week later, I water the row of creamy pink roses along the side of my house and thank them for their mentorship. These roses that I could not see the first 2 summers in this home because that version of me was so deeply unwell that nature was out of reach entirely. How parched they must have been without my hand to water them. How they must have dug into their genome for the strongest resiliency available. How vulnerable and strong simultaneously to endure until I was well enough to receive their waiting medicine. It is in this spirit of reciprocity that I gladly, competently nourish them so they may nourish me. Image symbol received for this week. A high mountain creates its own weather. The card which followed, innocence. A boat can represent your voyage toward the islands of higher consciousness. That boat is made from your treasured innocence. We are all born wild and innocent, like a blue heron. To live in civilization, at a very young age, we become like sheep, trying to fit in with the crowd. To maintain your receptive innocence is to listen to your own inner voice. That's from the Power Deck, The Cards of Wisdom by Lynn V. Andrews. The essay came first, the image symbol second, and the card third, yet they are all related to one another. When I think of my previous self in perpetual dysautonomia from unhealed pain and trauma, I subconsciously believed I would be safest if I conformed to the standards of the group in power. For me, that looked like marrying and bearing children, getting a higher education, climbing the ladder in corporate work, and maintaining a physical self that met beauty standards. From my peak of unwellness, I certainly created my own weather, largely unconsciously. I repeated familial and collective patterns of oppression, delusion, and harm to self and others. This was the chaotic weather of my life. Astrologically, we see Saturn and Neptune moving back and forth through the end of Pisces and beginning of Aries. These archetypes of tradition, conformity, and responsibility, Saturn, and imagination, innocence, and messiness, Neptune, moving from the sign of return to source, Pisces, and birth into being, Aries, are asking us to examine the weather we have created as a collective. What Pisces and Aries have in common, maybe the only thing, is their innocence. Aries, as the first sign of the zodiac and the cardinal fire sign, lacks the bravado of brother fire sign Leo or the worldliness of sister fire sign Sagittarius. Pisces, as the final sign of the zodiac, via the sister water signs, has exhausted its emotional desire to caretake, Cancer, and to understand, Scorpio, and now inhabits a state of wonder at the possibility of merging with Source. The nudges from the cosmic energy therefore ask us, was it worth losing innocence in pursuit of goals? Has their survival instinct killed any spiritual inclination? Is it possible to be both vulnerable and strong, both whole and able to receive help? What weather have we inadvertently created? As always, take what resonates and leave the rest. And if you feel called, share your thoughts.